What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Life is Strange Double Exposure yet again. I want to talk about the game's length. So I was doing a live stream a couple of weeks back, or maybe even last week, depending on when you see this, and this was actually a question brought up to me. I thought it was an interesting conversation, thought maybe we can make a predictions video. Funny enough, at least to my knowledge, and I mean, I try to see everything that there is, Life is Strange Double Exposure. Haven't seen any, normally the developers will throw out sometimes, they'll say, hey, this is a 8 to 12 hour game, right? Or they'll say, hey, this is in line with the last game. This is in line with True Colors. I think it will be, and that's what we're here to talk about in this video. It's just we haven't heard that yet. Game comes out in a couple of weeks. Honestly, I think we're going to hear it anytime now, like within the next couple of weeks. I think I'll probably be making a video saying Life is Strange, size or length revealed, right? So I want to do, and I think this will be interesting, I just want to look at two games, Life is Strange, the first game, and Life is Strange True Colors. I go to Life is Strange because of, Max, the origin point. That's kind of it, I guess, right? So this is a sequel, in a sense, to Life is Strange. That's why I throw that one in here. And I want to look at How Long to Beat, which is a pretty darn good, analysis of, it tracks us. You can put in your own times into that site. So the average length for the main story of Life is Strange 1 is 14 hours. The main inside is 16 and a half. And the completionist, which is, like 100%, getting a platinum, whatever you want to consider, 18 and a half, okay? Now, I will say one thing before we get to True Colors. I actually think that's a little bloated. Now, again, how much should I talk, right? And again, it literally takes the numbers that the people that go on the site, you can submit your own time. So, this is literally the people. I guess I'm disagreeing with the people. I'll tell you this, right? For me personally, if you're rushing through this game, like if you've played it multiple times and you're just trying to go through the main stuff, right? You can get through it pretty quick. You can get through it in under 10 hours pretty darn easily, right? Now, I think I've played this game either 5 or 6 times. I just replayed it a few months ago, and because of Double Exposure, I did everything, right? I've done everything in the past, but it's been a while, and I just wanted to really, engross myself in this game to lead into Double Exposure. So I took my sweet time, and I think it took me about 12 hours. Now, I've done the puzzles. I know where the bottles are in the junkyard, right? The first time I played this game, I almost threw my controller through a wall to try to find those bottles. So, some things could take you longer than others, but I would read everything. I would listen to every conversation. I would go, to the back of the Two Whales Diner and talk to the homeless lady. I would talk to the fisherman in the front. Honestly, I don't think I've ever talked to the fisherman in the front, and I finally did it. So, I really try to do everything, and I got less than that. I also platinumed it because I was playing the remaster. I've already platinumed the base game, so I platinumed the remaster, which is just the taking pictures, and I got most of them on my own. I looked at a guide just to find the ones that I kind of missed again just on my own. So, yeah, I don't know. For me personally, I think these numbers are a bit high, but that's what we're kind of working with, right? 14, for me personally, it was more like 12, 16, and 18. All right, going to True Colors. This one I do think is more important, okay? We can talk about the length of the first game all we want, but the length of True Colors, this is from them. And this was their last game, and this was, 3.5 years ago. So this one, I think, is a really good indicator as to what Double Exposure could be, just because of, all those factors we just said. Main story, 10. Main inside, 12. Completionist 13. Now, I will say this. You have substantially less people that did the polling. I think roughly a fourth. So, I think the numbers would honestly stay the same, but just for transparency, they are the average. They're working literally with less people that submitted the stuff versus Life is Strange, which is not unbelievable. We talked about it before. Life is Strange has, tripled, quadrupled the sales of any of these games, probably actually more than that. But okay, so that's what we're kind of working with. So how long will Double Exposure be? I am going to predict 10 hours. I think 10 hours makes sense. They're doing the episodes, right? But they're not splitting it up. I guess they are if you do the early access, you buy the collector's edition or whatever it's called. But, if you buy the game, or even if you do that, you're going to get the game, and it's going to come with the 5 episodes, but it's all in one package, right? Which is how True Colors did it. And, pretty easy math there, right? You're really dealing with about 2 hours average. Now, I would say Life is Strange 1 is also kind of like that. I think, I know, I just said I replayed it, but I'm still kind of forgetful. episode 2 or 3, or maybe both of them, there's 1 or 2 episodes in Life is Strange, the first one, that are short. I think the 4th episode is massive, though. I don't remember for sure. Maybe it's even episode 5. It's a little uneven, I guess is what I'm getting to. But, I mean, average-wise, yeah, you might do 2.5 or 3 hours on one. You might do closer to 2, maybe even slightly under 2 in another. And that's, I do think that's the sweet spot. Now, I've said before, like, look, it's actually kind of ironic because I'm making this video, but length doesn't actually mean much to me. But I will say this, right? It's always been about quality versus quantity. So I'll take 10 hours of good Life is Strange versus 15 of okay. You know, like that's kind of where I stand. But I will say this. For a game like Life is Strange, you gotta give me something. Like, I will not tolerate, unless it's unbelievably elite, but I don't think I could handle 5 hours. Each episode is 1 hour. I mean, that's, to me, just not enough. And here's, again, like, you could say, well, you always talk about the length of time and quality versus quantity. I don't think it's enough time to actually get you into that world. That would be, like, my main argument. That's my main argument for making Life is Strange maybe a 10 to 12-hour game, because you want me to reinvest in Max. We got to catch up. We got to do a whole new story, whole new characters, whole new area, whole new situation, different powers, different world-ending event. I mean, shall I go on? Right? It just keeps going. You can't do that all in 5 hours. You can't do 6 hours. You need a pretty meaty amount of time. Now, again, here's the thing. Again, none of these games are all that long. Like, if you just go through, if you're doing the main thing, if you don't feed the plants, in Life is Strange 1, if you're not doing those optional conversations, well, look, some of them might come back to haunt you. Depending on what you do with Kate, which is actually a lot of optional stuff. Some of it's not, but some of it is. In Life is Strange 1, you might have just screwed yourself, right? So it depends, I guess, on which game you're talking about. But, I will say, that's something to remember that, yeah, on the second or third time that you're playing Life is Strange Double Exposure, could you get through it in 6-7 hours? Yeah. In fact, I think you could get through any of these games in probably less than 8 hours each. And that's just because you watch the stuff, you complete the puzzle solving, which you already know because you already did it, and you don't do the optional stuff, right? I guess I'm talking more about if I'm going to take my time, and I think actually it might go more because for me personally, I mean, we've talked so much on this channel, right? For me personally, I am doing everything. I'm looking at every phone call. I'm looking at every text. I'm looking at every nook and cranny of Caledon University. I'm talking to everybody I can. I'm taking it in. Now, if it's bad, it's bad. Maybe then I actually wouldn't do it as much as, and I think I did that with like Life is Strange 2. I've talked about my, not liking that game so much, but I guess that's fair to throw out where it's like, well, if the world's not interesting to me or the characters aren't interesting to me or not good, yeah, you're gonna participate in the world less. So it actually might take you less time because you're not doing the optional stuff. But I think, I don't know, to stay true to myself, to stay true to Max Caulfield, I'm gonna do everything in this game at least one time, right? So, I mean, I just need it to have an okay amount of meat to it, and I imagine it's gonna take me, again, we don't know the length right now, but I imagine this game is gonna take me at least 10 hours, if not, yeah, pushing 12, 13, 14 hours, because I'm going to do literally everything. And it's not like it's got 500 side quests or anything. I'm just going to walk down every hallway that it allows me to. I'm going to talk to every character that it allows me to, right? Like that's kind of what I mean by that. So my official prediction would be in that 10 to 12 hour range. And that's kind of taking it all in. If you're rushing, yeah, it's probably going to be like a 7 or so hour game. If you do everything, if you stare at walls for too long, right? Yeah, you might get 15, 16 hours out of it. I think that's in line with what they've done before. That's in line with the Life is Strange franchise, and I think it just makes the most sense. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.